Good evening, I'm Robert Kohler, head of programming year-round here at Film Society of Lincoln Center, and want to welcome you to our closing night of Making Waves, a survey of new and, I should say, also old and great classic Romanian cinema. I want to first, for the Film Society, thank the audience for great attendance and great involvement during the days of Making Waves. We've had some terrific discussions and Q&As, and it's been terrific to see all of you coming night after night to a terrific range of cinema. And I think this is a way of thinking about celebrating cinema, and you're fundamentally a part of it. So we want to thank you for that. We also want to thank especially our partners of the Romanian Film Initiative who have been fundamental in organizing the program and are really the true authors of this series. And in light of that, I want to bring up to the stage and introduce you the president of the festival and the co-founder of the Romanian Film Initiative, Cristina.
Thank you very much, Bob, and indeed we are very grateful to Lincoln Center for having trusted us and having continued to do this festival together with us this year. The result is that we did have full houses, and we are, the three of us, extremely happy. Because we want to be brief, as the film is long and beautiful, and we need time for the Q&As. I'll just very briefly introduce my two colleagues, partners, friends, Oana Radu and Mihai Kirilov, who are the co-founders of the Romanian Film Initiative together with me, and who work together with me in this crazy drive to make this happen. They are both wearing colored clothes, and of course I didn't ask them to come on stage with me because they are very tall. Right, apart from Oana and Mihai, I would like to thank all the people who did a lot of work for this festival. First of all, our colleagues who did volunteer work, Anca Dragoi and Andra Stoica, my daughter and partner in all my craziness along the time, Elvira Lupșa, who is the author also of the Making Waves site and who participated very actively to the Kickstarter campaign. And I also want to thank Giulia Pacetti, our publicist, and the volunteers who helped us really do this festival this year. Now I'm going to introduce very briefly the two stars that we have with us this evening. It's the 2-hour D in Cannes. They are, one of them is for the first time in New York. The other one has already been to New York, but not on such a special occasion. So please receive with applause Cosmina, Stratan, and Cristina Flutur, who are the lead actresses of Beyond the Hills, the film by Cristian Mungiu.
I am for the first time in New York. Hi. Thanks for coming. I'm really happy to be here. And they told me to be short, so try to have some fun. Thank you.
Bună seara! Mă gândesc că sunt mulți români în sală, fiind un festival de film românesc. Good evening, thank you for coming to see our film. We will be here after 2 hours and a half if you have any questions for us and if you will still be here in the room.
Thank you very much. We will say goodbye as the team of Making Waves until next year. And please remember, we have a site, and anyone from you can make a donation if you wish for the future Making Waves festivals. And after the film and the Q&A, we invite you all for a last drink in the lobby of the Lincoln Center Walter Reed Theater. Enjoy the screening.
So I invite Cosmina Stratan and Cristina Flutur here next to me. Please applaud them once again. They are the two main stars in the film. Okay, I'll start with a few questions until you warm up. I assume you need a bit of, I don't know, to lay back a bit after the film and to find your words again. So my first question for you both is, starting also from today's article in the New York Times, written by Larry Rotter. It's an interview with Cristian Mungiu, speaking plenty about working with first-time actors. I want to know your story. How was it for you to work with an established filmmaker like Cristian Mungiu? Because it is your first experience in film for both. And it's amazing what you do in the film. And actually, I'm really interested, how did it work from the very beginning? I mean, if you can recollect your memories from the casting process. I mean, if you can actually tell me how the casting went and whether you were like asked to do a scene from the film or some lines from the script and which ones were them. And then, I mean, if you can summarize this from zero to hero, you know?
Well, thank you for seeing the film.
So she is Cristina Flutur. I mean, just for you to have the Cristina Flutur and Cosmina Stratan.
When I got this call from the casting director that Cristian is making a new movie and he wants to see me, I really thought it was a joke. I didn't believe him because Cristian, he's really like the director with whom you really want to work. So actually when I got to Bucharest and I saw him in person, I said, wow, it's kind of true. And from the first second, I had the feeling that we will get along very well. It was like first connection, first time seeing first connection. And the audition went in a very warm and friendly way. He has this talent of making you feel comfortable very easily. And I had the feeling that we know each other for a very long time, so you can relax and you can start to simply try different nuances and different things on the text, trusting yourself. Yeah, I think I read some text from the script. I didn't know what the story was about. He didn't tell me, just reading both Voichița and Alina. So after a while he decided for Alina, though he said that, well, you could do both, but I have to pick. So it was like this. And then the experience itself with Cristian was simply amazing. It's like I only did theater before, and I had no idea what to do in front of a camera. I mean, I did not study. I have never been to a film school or to any classes. But I trusted very much Cristian and his indications, and also sort of an instinct, intuition and all that. But it was a bit different from theater, but I loved it very much.
Thank you. Cosmina?
Yes, it was like this. For me, it was a bit different because when Cristian saw my picture, he said that, no, I don't think that I want to see that girl. I don't know what to say. But I was really lucky because the casting director insisted in a way and asked Cristian whether it was alright just to meet with the casting director. And I did that. I didn't know it was a movie, Cristian Mungiu's movie. I only received one scene, and it was a very good one, very challenging, but I didn't know that.
Which one actually from the film?
It was actually I had two. First, it was the scene between Voichița and the priest, when Voichița tells the priest to allow her to keep Alina in the monastery at the beginning of the movie. And the second scene was between Alina and Voichița when Alina is packing Voichița's stuff, and Voichița tells her that she doesn't want to go anymore with her in Germany.
So you were doing Alina, and who was doing Voichița when you were?
I was doing Voichița, and the casting director was doing Alina.
Okay.
And we did a great job together. I don't know. But he called me after 2 weeks, I think. And after that, we had like 1 month audition. But I found out later that it was sort of a rehearsal for Cristian because he already decided. But he just wanted to make sure that we can handle the whole script.
And that was, as far as I remember, not so long ago, because I don't know, maybe for a film like that, such a complex and ambitious film, you might expect that this film was in the making for a long time. But these stories that you are telling now about the casting and everything were like exactly like 1 year ago. I mean, just for you to know how fast everything went. Also, just to point once again, I know many people know that, but just to make sure that everybody knows that this film is based on a real story that happened not so long ago, actually. And the story was documented in a series of non-fictional books, which actually the film is based upon. I want to know how do you feel about the real story when you've heard of it? Because I assume you knew about the real story because it made headlines all over Romania and not only. And how did the film, the movie, the script, and what you had to do in the film challenge your own preconception about the story? Because I remember that back then everybody had an opinion about it, who was guilty, this one or that one or no one or everybody. I mean, how did it change or your preconception about the real story when you are actually impersonating the characters in the film?
I heard about the story at the time, but I didn't get into details. I felt it was too horrible to enter. Probably I was not ready to find out more, so I didn't have any preconception about it. But when Cristian told me that the script is based on the story, I decided to read the first book written by Tatiana Niculescu, just to know exactly what happened and to get a feeling about it. But after that, I left it behind, and I decided to really focus only on the script and focus on Alina and not on the real person and the real story, because it is a fiction based on a true story. It's not a documentary, and it's not trying to rebuild everything like it was in real life. So for me, the script was the main source of information for everything. The story and the characters, the line of the characters, the biography, everything that I had to build up in my mind that happened in the past between the two girls was just in my head.
What about you, Cosmina? How did you feel about the real story when it happened and when you were reading about in the papers?
Actually, I was working as a journalist back then in 2005 when everything took place. And it wasn't my domain because I worked in the cultural news. But I knew the details and everything. But when I entered this project with Cristian, I just chose not to read the book because I felt that I had to stick to one single story. So it might have been a bit confusing for me if I would have read the book and would have read the script also. And I decided just not to read it, not then. And I just stick to the script.
Okay, if you have questions, please raise your hand and Yes. And try to speak as loud as you can. Good.
Yes.
So the question was, for those who haven't heard, um, how actually in the film Alina's past is documented so well in detail, whereas Voikica's past is kind of unclear. If you can have some inside information, maybe you can give it to me.
Actually, it's the first time I think about that because I kind of pictured those two girls like linked and like they have the same story because they grew up together at an orphanage, and I just built it her whole life before the movie started. So I actually got the feeling that these information are in the movie, but they're not. So yes, she grew up together with Alina at an orphanage, and in the moment Alina decided to leave for Germany, she just couldn't find a way of living on her own. So she kind of searched for help in somewhere else. And at first, going to the monastery is kind of a desperate solution for Voikica. After that, things change, but at first it was like that.
Well, I'm thinking probably Cristian gave so much information about Alina because she's the problematic girl in the film. So at some point you wonder, why is she reacting like this? What happened to her that she's so violent and she's so connected to Voikica? Why can't she take a no? You know, so probably. So yes. Yes, but I think the whole story is centered around this problematic girl, Alina, because she's dying in the end. So probably that's her biography is more important than the other one's biography. Maybe, I don't know.
Next question, please. Yes.
The I'm not sure I got your question. Oh, in a way, yes, but
I thought he had a loud voice. So his question was, how did this movie how this movie was received in Romania, especially in regard of the strong relation between and the strong influence actually on the Orthodox Church within the country, who wants to be and towards the modern life, you know, because every Romanian wants to lead a modern life oriented to the West, to the Western societies, whereas the strong Orthodox Church is trying to refrain, you know, the society to move in that way, being so conservative. Correct. Okay.
okay. I'm not sure that the movie is about the comparison between the Orthodox Church and the modern life. I think this a real event that took place in Romania is only kind of a pretext for Christian to tell a story, and it's bottom line, it's about love and it's about human being, and it's if cinema doesn't travel and stops at the borders, then it's not cinema anymore. So it's not about Romania necessarily, but about how was it received in Romania. Actually, we were abroad a lot, but the Orthodox Church didn't have quite a very personal opinion after. It was a very general anti-movie answer, but nothing in particular. So we're just waiting, maybe later.
There were some articles. I read an article written by a priest who clearly said that he thinks that the film is not anti-church and anti-religion at all. And it's not judgmental. It's just presenting a set of facts. And it is clearly that everybody in the movie had very good intentions, after all. So it's not something that they prepared, you know, like a conspiracy to kill somebody. It's not about that. And also I read another article written by another priest with a higher position, like in the hierarchy. And he was against the film because he said we shouldn't talk about this. But again, you wonder, why shouldn't we talk about it? It is based on a real fact. Maybe somebody should say something about it so that we can find out the reasons why it happened and try not to allow it to happen again. So actually, when we say the general opinion of the Orthodox Church is a bit, I don't know, because within the church there are also people, and priests are also people, and they each have their own opinion about something. So we don't have like an official, you know, statement of the Orthodox Church, but there are priests who have their own opinion, and it's not against the film, and they understood the human story, and they really got to the profound levels and the meanings, the many meanings that the film brings about.
So this, and okay, you.
I'm just curious to find out how this story playing in this movie impacted your personal life. Not your professional life, but your personal life.
So the question is about how did this film and the story had an impact upon not your professional life, because this I can add something. Both of you shared the Best Actress prize in Cannes for this film, so that was, I think, the hugest impact that the film could have upon you. It's the most important film an actress can get, but upon your personal life. So how this film had an impact on your personal lives?
Each role for me has impact. I mean, I totally connect with the role and try to really be there, the whole of me. So it influences me a lot. Some more, some less, it depends. But this one was really challenging because when I read the script, I said to myself that, wow, this girl is really very far away from me. How will I ever get there? It's like kilometers away. But I tried to understand her in every little detail and not to judge her, not to get detached. And I had a little moment of doubt whether I should enter the story or not, because I knew it will be controversial and a controversial character, and many people will have very different opinions about her, and she will be a lot judged. And because I have my own personal religious beliefs, which are not the same as Alina's. So I said to myself, should I or shouldn't I? It was that, you know, I stayed alone at home with the script here and really considering. But then I realized that I'm an actress. And this means that I should be more tolerant, and I should be able to get into any kind of story and into any kind of world of another human being. So I should be able to understand somebody who is totally different from me, who has totally different beliefs, and not to be afraid. So yeah, I just made this decision to enter that black hole. Because Alina, for me, was very, she had a lot of pain inside, and sometimes it was difficult to really jump into that pain and to deal with it, and to wake up in the morning and be sane. So.
Cosmina?
Oh, it was for me also.
Yeah, I think every question is for both of you, unless it's specified.
Oh, about the impact of the character.
No, the impact of the story on your personal life.
Impact of the story. At first, when I read the script, I thought that this girl is very, in a way, similar with me, and that I don't have to work that much. But after 1 month, or less than 1 month, I discovered that I really have to work, because I couldn't understand the way she's keeping everything inside. Every emotion, every conflict, and everything happens inside without having the guts to make a choice, in a way. But on the other hand, I realized that everything she wanted for her and for Alina just happened to her. So, in a way, it's really ambiguous. It has a bit of mixed connotations that I don't even understand that well. So, yeah, it's still unsolved for me, in a way. So the impact is still above.
Okay, you are next. The question is whether they became close friends, like their characters are in the movie. Actually, I wanted to ask you whether you knew each other before you started working for the film.
No, we didn't know each other before the film, but I felt a sort of straight connection when I first met Cosmina and we read together. It was that kind of, I don't know, today I found out this term of professional chemistry. It's like with some partners it happens instantly, with some not, and you cannot build it. It's either there or not. So. But I don't know if we're close friends. I'm not sure.
I think this leads to another question. Is there any question of jealousy, maybe, in regard of this
We
film?
have two
Whoever
prizes.
thinks has the main role in this film, is it you or is it you? Do you talk about it?
We have 2 objects separately, 2 prices, the same. So they thought of that before us.
But what do you think?
No, from my part, I mean, there is no reason to be jealous. She's very
No,
good
that was
in
a
the
joke.
film.
No, that was
so
a no. Of course, that was a joke. The question, I mean, the deeper question was, which is really the main character of this story in regard of the angle from which this story is told by Cristian Mungiu.
maybe love.
We have to ask him.
He's not here. Next question. No, please, let's have questions. Please formulate everything. Comments, keep the comments because we have a reception afterwards and you make comments there, yeah? Let's stick to questions, yeah. Yeah, but I'm sure, because otherwise it would have been even worse. So, please, over there, the question.
May I ask what secular means?
Non-religious.
For me, Alina is neither crazy nor possessed. So we talked with Cristian from the very beginning, and we left aside these two extremes. It's not interesting, I think, for an actor to play a crazy person or possessed, because you just put everything on either on the disease or on the devil. But I just think she's in a very big pain, and she's carrying many frustrations. She had a very hard life, a very tough biography. And I believe there is also the trauma of the rejected people, the ones that are brought up in an orphanage. I think it's very hard to heal this kind of trauma, that you are not wanted. It's hard to understand why everybody else is wanted and you are not. And when the person whom you love most in the world, because she embodies all the roles of all the people that you don't have in life, when she says no, it's hard to remain, calm and peaceful and simply accept it and move away. So she cannot accept this refusal, and she cannot accept the fact that Voichița has changed. She has a new road. She has chosen something else. Because for Alina, this was the main, the spine, the strawberry on the cake. So she's not crazy. She's not, and she doesn't have any spiritual issues. I believe that sometimes in the film she's the most sane person. She's the most lucid. Lucid, do you say that? Yeah, seeing very clearly reality and seeing very clearly that the nuns there are a bit hypnotized. They are using the words that the priest is using. So they don't think all the time with their own brain, and they don't feel all the time with their own heart. They kind of take ideas and just apply them. So she's more aware of what's happening, I believe, coming from the outside with a different perspective upon life. And for me, she's more free-spirited and more brave, because she goes out from the orphanage and she has the guts to go out into the world and try to make a life, the life that she didn't have, but she wants it. So she doesn't cling on something. She doesn't need a structure, a system. She doesn't look for safety in this way. But she has this, how to say, Achilles heel. That's the love for Voichița. And that's the most vulnerable point, and that's where everything enters.
Yeah, you were before. It was someone over there. Yeah, you're next.
I had no idea.
The eternal question
I don't know.
about money. What's the budget of this great film? Yeah.
They had to
Fabulous,
build
sorry.
the monastery, so everything is fake. They had to build the whole set, so we didn't use the real church, and everything was made up. So I think it was a lot of money.
I think that you can find the budget on the in Variety. When they usually publish the review for each film, they have technical details and then also have the budget listed. I don't know, I don't remember, but it was something. Yeah, that's a technical information. You can find it. It was over there. Question, yeah, please. It's a question for both, right? Okay, the question about which scene was the most difficult for each one of you to play?
For me, I think there are many scenes, but one of the most difficult scene was the scene where the policemen come to the church and try to find out what happened. it was very difficult because I was thinking about that scene from the beginning of the movie and trying to get an answer, what should I do then? But I had to wait for the movie to grow and for the story to grow till that moment. And actually, when the moment came, I still was a bit confused, but I just had felt that I had to change something in my character, and I was really lucky to have Cristian next to me who was thinking the same. So it's kind of a lucid recovery of the facts in a way. So it doesn't mean that my character is not suffering about what happened, but it's the moment after the big suffering. So it's the moment when she realizes what happened and she realizes her guilt. For me, it was one of the most difficult.
There were many difficult scenes for Alina, I think. But one of them was the scene where she is first tied up, because she had a lot of energy, and like I said, for me she was such a free-spirited person, and to keep her tied up and to put something on her mouth was sometimes unbearable, because she had so many things to manifest to the outside world, and she was not allowed to. So it was both emotionally and physically a little bit tough.
Let's have two more questions, and then we'll continue to talk in the lobby. There's one here. The question is about one of the final scene, and it's about more specific in regard of Voichița's character. It's a question for Cosmina. How did she feel in that very specific moment when she had to give up wearing those monastic clothes and changing in some sportswear clothes? Does it possibly mean that she just lost faith in that very moment?
Actually, I kind of have the same question for you because I'm curious what people understand from that scene. In a way, when I first started to build the character, I always had so many questions, because I felt that Alina's destiny is in a way very clear, and her problem is in a way very clear. She wants that, she doesn't get it, so she does that, and you truly understand her decision. But my character is always like, what should I do? I don't know what I feel, I don't know what I want, and this is really difficult to make it real in a way, because she's always on the edge, not knowing exactly what she feels or what she should feel. So that's kind of the scene that I tried for real to think about what are the options for Voichița. I don't know if she knows what she will do after she leaves the church then with the policeman. I'm not sure she knows. She just felt the need to dress some differently and to just try to see the world with her own eyes, maybe for the first time. But I'm not sure what's next for her.
And last question, I want to have a question from the back, sorry, from the... Okay.
Yes, I really liked that scene because at first I was okay. When do I decide I don't want to go? And she decides she doesn't want to go before she goes to the passport, because there's sometimes it happens that you realize that you don't want to do a certain thing, but there's I don't know, there's a reflex that makes you do all the arrangements until the last minute, but you know you won't do it, but you are prepared in a way to do it because you promised so. So she decided not to go, but she didn't knew that she will have the guts to tell Alina she can't make it. So she really tried and searched for a moment to tell Alina she won't come, but she didn't knew that she will find that moment.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll continue talking in
Thank you.
the lobby. And I wish you great success with this film again and with your future films. Thank you for being part of Making Waves Festival, and see you next year. Thank you.